No, I didn't.
No.
My bad.
Just like whole strands of spaghetti.
Can't say that I
think
did.
it's the texture that gets him. I think he likes it.
It's like a broom. You might as well just chomp on the end of a broom. Is it not?
Not really, because a
Not
broom's
really?
not edible.
Oh, and and raw, uncooked spaghetti is?
Well, you just suck on it a little bit, and then it softens up.
Well, technically it should harden.
Well,
Oh, wait.
the spaghetti?
Spaghetti? Oh, spaghetti.
Oh, come
yeah.
on now.
Oh, dude.
Come on now. Oh, jeez. Listen to you. We can never, you know what? We can never have an honest discussion.
I mean, that's honest. You're not being honest with yourself. It's the problem.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Bolita pasta.
Buddy, yeah. Welcome to the Higher Energy Superpower. This is episode 22 of the Turbo Duo Cast. Oh, I was waiting for a Rick Ross 22. My bad.
Oh. She says she's 22. The rings cost me 22.
We ride on 22.
We in room 222. There you go.
I'm your host, Salvatore Mata, and to my left is my brother from another game show lover. He puts the ass in classic gaming, everybody. He is the oral assassin, Trenton E. Wright the Third.
Because when you got nothing left, the only way is right. And that's right here.
Of a 60-minute band, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's my new tagline.
I've been thinking a lot about the Sega CD lately.
So you're looking at your Sega CD and you're like, I've been thinking about you. Bow, bow. Just like that.
You make me want to just turn this off and just go listen to some Chicago.
Yeah.
That's such a fabulous song.
Yeah. It doesn't get talked about in the
Who makes that?
I
Oh, all right.
I don't remember.
She must have been stone crazy. Yeah, that's
That's the definition of 1997.
there's a reservation in his voice. Like he's holding back a little bit. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's not really letting it all out.
No.
Letting it all hang out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's another one of those systems that it just, it's almost like the Saturn to me, where it's got this library that's sort of unexplored. People didn't.
Dude, I know.
It was over before it started in a way.
Yeah, because there was so many of the. I mean, I guess it's a topic for another episode, but that's because it had so many. The full motion video games, people only focused on that, but there's like a ton of really good games on it.
No, I know, and unfortunately now, like anything else, everything's gone just through the roof in terms of price. So
yeah.
If you wanted to, you'd have to either load it up, I guess, on an emulator, or they have all those solutions now that you can do to play, I guess, ROMs of the files,
CD files,
if you have the right BIOS.
Yeah. I never know how that works. Like, is there no loading times when you're doing it? Like, how does it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know. Because it's like,
it's not really load. I mean, it is, but it's not. You're not playing it off the disc, so
it's not like it has to load. It's got to be faster when you do it like that. I would think, but I've never really played a Sega CD game and felt, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for the game to start.
Oh, you mean like yeah?
You know what I mean? Like I've been waiting a long time to get
even when
the
like
game.
I remember people were saying on the Mortal Kombat for Sega CD, oh, like all the loading times, and like when you go to like between fights, like the loading time is crazy. When you do a move, it like loads, and like it's like 2 to 3 seconds or something.
Oh, not enough to like
between rounds, or like after like the first round and second round, or just in between matches or whatever. I don't know. It's really not. Like, oh, it takes away from the game.
It's like
not really.
It's like anything else. It's just internet anger. It's like it's not real. It's not real anger. It's just like trying to find a difference between the versions.
Yeah, like it's like obviously there's loading times on that as opposed to the Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Sure.
But it doesn't really affect the game.
Yeah.
Unless you just want something to complain about, which I understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a topic for another day, of course, but it just got me thinking about because I was thinking about the Sega CD and the Saturn, and you kind of get the idea of what they were going for when they were kind of moving in that direction for the Saturn. Because as you know, the Saturn originally was supposed to be like this 2D powerhouse before they kind of got wind of what was happening with the PlayStation. And then they're like, oh my gosh, we got to kind of
it's kind of like
beef up the system a little bit to get a little bit more horsepower so that we can compete with what's happening in the market. But
it's kind of like the Wii U to the Switch, you know. Like the Sega CD was kind of a failure, but like the Saturn was supposed to be like the sequel to that, and like the Switch, the Wii U was supposed to be what the Switch was, you know.
Right, they were just a little early with it.
Yeah,
kind of. I mean, the Saturn wasn't a success. It was in Japan more so, but yeah, I mean, they were looking to more realize what they did in that previous generation when they learned kind of the inner workings of CD technology and sort of, you know, using scaling and rotation and those kinds of things. The company that I kind of am drawn to, it's not surprising, but it's surprising in the way that it's not a Japanese developer. But, you know, when you look at everything that Core Design was doing on the Sega CD, it kind of tells us a little bit more about maybe where the Saturn would have gone, the types of games that we would have gotten if they kind of stayed on that track with just kind of like trying to blow out the 2D hardware a little bit, because
they had Soulstar, Battle Corps, BC Racers.
Yeah, so I mean, Core Design was able to do so much. I mean, if you guys haven't seen some of the Core Design games, just, you know, look on YouTube to find games produced by Core Design for the Sega CD. This is like the Tomb Raider team, right? The Tomb Raider division of Eidos. And so they came out with games like Jaguar XJ220, which is a severely underrated racing game.
Oh, that is Core?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was one of their first like Sega CD projects that they had. It was like their introduction to sort of that scaling technology and
like
the road moving up and down. But we've played that game, and it's a really good racing game.
You wouldn't think so, because it just kind of looks like a rad race. It just doesn't really look like anything really
The game's
flashy.
name is Jaguar XJ220.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is just some licensed car game. They wanted to get the model in. And
it's like one of the strike games. It's like, you know, it's just like another strike game, or it's another
some EA Lotus challenge.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, what's the Accolade one? Is it Test Drive?
Oh, Test Drive. Well, I mean, the Tengen one would be Hard Drive.
Hard
Driving.
But then you play the game and you're like, wow, this is like I like it just as much, if not, this might be blasphemy, but even more than like Outrun. Like I really like XJ220, and I'm talking about just like original Outrun. I know you like Outrunners and
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't like Outrunners?
That's the bad one.
Is that okay?
I have it just because I got it very cheap.
Okay.
It's not good.
Is there an Outrun that you really like?
Well, it'd probably be I guess the original one. This is the Sega one, not the Outrun 2019 or whatever the hell.
Which version though?
What do you mean?
Like, which version of Outrun do you like?
Well, I mean, the arcade version.
The arcade version.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Genesis one's fine, but it's not like it's just not like playing the arcade one.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet if they would have put that on the 32X. You know.
No, that would have been great. I mean, they put Space Harrier on it.
I know. It's like it's like the same thing.
I know, but I think Jaguar XJ220 kind of fits that void. You know, we kind of didn't have that, but I don't think it's that expensive of a game. If you guys get a chance if you like racing games and you have a Sega CD, you need to own Jaguar XJ220. I mean, a loose disc is probably
it's a little hard to get because it's in the cardboard the paper box. Yeah.
Have you seen even the Batman Returns?
What the
the cardboard box is like $100 now.
Yeah, well,
you know, it's
any price you say is not going to be surprising anymore.
It's just
really.
crazy. But so they did that game. They did Thunderhawk, which is like a helicopter.
Are you talking about Thunderstrike? Isn't that JVC?
No, Thunderhawk.
Thunderhawk.
Yeah.
I don't even think I know that one on the Sega CD.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't even know that one.
They did Battle Corps, which is a fantastic game. The view is a little cropped, but you're literally in like a mech.
Yeah.
And you know the screen is scrolling forward and back, and it's really convincing, and it's a fun game. I mean, it's great.
That's actually still a cheap one. I think it's around like 30, 40
Yeah, it's not
bucks.
bad. That's complete, I think, too, right?
Yeah, it hasn't really gone up in value, which I'm surprising. It hasn't, because the other one has.
And then I think the choice game that they made. The choice game that they made that is just, every time I see it, it still wows me, as Soulstar. I mean, I can't get enough of that. Just seeing the scaling into the screen when you're in space and the space station is coming into view and you see it way far away, and then it doesn't leave the screen. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you fly into it.
Blew your pants off the first time you saw it. You're like, that fucking scary. Are you looking at this?
It's that's how you know it's good, is when something from 1993 or 94 is still blowing you away. You know that it's really, really good. But alas, 3D Mania explodes. You get the 32X.
3D Mania. Is that a game?
No. So the rest is history. This is the team that made Fighting Force 2.
Is this what we're doing this show on?
No. It's just something that was on my mind.
It's what I wanted to do, and I didn't push it in their face. And he said, okay. It was unbelievable. It was a shoot, and I had incredible discipline.
Did you know that Fighting Force started out as a concept for Streets of Rage 4?
Oh, I feel like I've heard that before. I want to say I must have seen it somewhere. I think so. I think it was originally maybe the review on like IGN or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember seeing it in EGM. They were talking about how like Streets of Rage 4 was in play, and like this was a screenshot for Streets of Rage 4, and it ended up being Fighting Force.
So they licensed it out to IDOS or whatever.
So basically,
obviously Sega didn't make it.
Well, Core kind of developed it and said, "Hey, do you guys want to have this as a Streets of Rage project?" And Sega was like, "No, we got other ideas for Streets of Rage."
As in not doing it.
We're gonna wait 25 years and then release a 2-dimensional version of Streets of Rage 4.
We're gonna play the long game on this one.
You know that game property that's about as popular as anything else right now?
Yeah, we're gonna hold on off in a few generations.
Yeah, a few. We're gonna wait for the PlayStation 5 and a half.
We're actually gonna stop making systems, and then we're gonna put it out 20 years after that.
Yeah, and we're not even gonna be the ones to make it either.
Well, it all worked out in the end, right?
I don't know. I think in the end it may have been a good decision though, because I don't think much of Fighting Force. I think Die Hard Arcade is a better game.
Oh yeah, I mean,
if you want to compare 3D beat 'em ups from the era,
like that's another one to talk about on a different episode. But it's definitely not. It would have been a disappointment if that was Streets of Rage 4.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. So it's funny because you look at like the characters on the front and it looks like, okay, I can tell that guy was going to be Axel.
Yeah,
that was going to be Blaze. That was going to be Max.
It's still a fun game. I have it on the 64.
It's
fine.
It's
a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, now, you ready for this?
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
Turn the Page by Metallica or Bob Seger?
No, Metallica. It's not even a battle. I feel like we did this already.
Maybe we did.
But yeah, not even close.
Hold the Line by Toto or Last in Line by Dio?
Last in Line.
Last in Line.
I had to think about it for a second. I was thinking of the chorus.
Yeah.
Hold the line.
It's not in the way that you hold me.
I was thinking of which one I could do without, and then I went with.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a tough one, though. It's tougher than you thought.
Yeah. It took me a second.
Burning Heart by Survivor or Open Your Heart by Europe?
Burning Heart.
Burning Heart?
Yeah.
All right.
More of a Survivor fan. I mean, no, I think that's just a better song.
Okay.
I like Europe better, though.
Me too. And the last one, Tiny Dancer by Elton John or Private Dancer by Tina Turner?
Oof, I can't even remember how Private Dancer.
I'm your private dancer, dancing for money. Do what you want me to do.
Oh, no. Tiny Dancer, because I always change it to Tony Danza. And who doesn't want to dance closer to Tony Danza?
I would guess a lot. A lot of people.
Hey, I'm the fucking boss.
All right, let's get into some show notes. So we had mentioned some jersey numbers, or if you guys remember back in the last episode, we didn't know what some of the jersey numbers were.
Oh, the great Larry Bird jersey, 33?
Yeah. No, it was Kevin McHale. And
I was just thinking of LFO.
He's number 32.
Kevin McHale.
This one, I'm surprised we didn't get this one. Wayne Gretzky, Number 99.
Yeah, I think I said that. I feel like
You said the Great 33.
that's when. And then I think I.
And then I
changed it
said, and then I said 88. We had the same number.
Yeah.
You know.
If you add them up and then divide them and get the square root,
Yeah.
you'll get 9, and then you double that.
There was some heavy confusion about when the eBay app came out. Remember we were talking to they're like, yeah, can you up my bid for the Wild Thing jersey?
Well, yeah, it's because I just didn't have a smartphone.
The eBay app came out.
I mean, not a smartphone. Just, it wasn't a smartphone. A phone that could just have the eBay thing on it.
You said,
or a web browser.
Yeah, you said that you bought it, or we got it in 2008. The eBay app came out in either July or November of that year. So,
Well, I definitely didn't have a smartphone.
good chance we probably wouldn't have been using the app at that point, anyways.
No, because yeah,
If it even existed.
yeah. It sure probably would have been super clunky. You bid on it, and then 5 minutes later it goes through. You're like, oh, I missed it. Awesome.
Yeah, you got to load up the bid.
That was when
like
everything was on bids. There was no
I
buy
know.
it now.
I know.
I think there was, but
not
it
as-
didn't seem like it.
it's
I don't
not,
think
it's not as fun as it used to
it
be.
might not even have been an option back then.
It used to be more fun. eBay used to be more fun because you would just bid on a bunch of stuff and just you never knew what you were gonna get.
Now it's the value doubled. You're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, and eBay's taking 15%. So, Juki was a fake drink commercial for Sprite.
Yep.
You were right about that.
It's a party in a can.
It's a party in a can. We talked about caffeine. Why not, right?
Well, that's what you talk about on a
So
video game show.
I had to look up, the amount of caffeine in a 12-ounce beverage.
Of what?
A bunch of stuff. So
Oh.
surprisingly, Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
It's
not that much.
The lowest on the list, 54 milligrams.
Yeah, it was just more than. It was just a little bit more than a Pepsi or a Coke.
Yeah, but do you know what Jolt Cola is?
In a 12 ounce.
Yeah,
92.
143
Oh.
as of 2021.
Oh, maybe back in the day it wasn't as much. Man, I remember. I
About
think
the same as the average 12-ounce energy drink.
Yeah. Because a Red Bull, an 8-ounce Red Bull is 80, and then
Mhm.
a 12-ounce one is obviously 100.
120.
Yeah, and then dude, me and Jesse Clark. I think it was just me and him. We used to. Some of the gas stations had the caffeine water, and we thought we were getting this illegal drink. It was called Crank 2.0,
Oh my god.
and it was just a bottle of water, but it had 100 milligrams of caffeine in it.
You dunces.
And oh my god, I remember it would taste so bad. At least to a 10-year-old back then, it probably just fine, but it tasted
It's called Crank.
Crank 2.0. KRANK 2.0.
They wouldn't even allow a name like that anymore.
It's just a penis bottle.
I was thinking crack.
Oh, I was thinking your crank.
Yeah. Coffee has for a 12-ounce coffee is 135, so it's pretty close.
Yeah.
To Jolt Cola. You just have a cup of coffee.
Or just have a Jolt Cola.
Or that sounds even better. The most caffeine
In what?
just that you can find
In a 12 ounce?
5-hour energy extra strength. It's 2 ounces. There's 250 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Yeah. Well, they got ones that vitamin
There
Shop,
should be a warning for a heart condition on that.
They all have them.
Do they really?
Every energy drink has
Oh,
them.
jeez.
Well, just because you just have to put it on there.
Mm.
It's hey, if you can't take it, get off the ride. Yeah, they have the mini. There's other companies that have the pre-workouts. They just put it into a little 3-ounce bottle. It's 300 milligrams.
That's insane to me.
It doesn't even really do anything to me. It's unfortunate.
Well, because you don't have anxiety.
No, I guess that's why.
Because if it exacerbates anxiety. So Liz has decaf coffee and she's cleaning the drapes at 3 a.m.
She's on the roof getting that one leaf off the top of the roof.
Yeah, it's one of those cartoons where the eyes gets really really wide. Like Chris Kattan and Corky Romano when he sniffs the coke.
Yeah.
He's
like, Kramer, I'm on no sleep.
Question. All right, time to get in our modern retro moment, also known as our "It's Still Real to Me, Damn It" moment.
It's still real to me, damn it!
So I was driving on my way from one appointment to the next, Trent, during the week.
Let's set the scene.
Yeah, 10 days ago, and I'm in Vernon,
Vernon Gulfland,
which is a town.
For those who don't know, which would be everyone.
Close by where we're from.
Even
and,
people in Connecticut don't know.
Yeah, so you all probably have the place that maybe you guys used to go when you wanted to go to an arcade, or you wanted to go to like an amusement center that wasn't like an amusement park, but it had maybe a couple of different things, attractions,
Some mini golf, batting cages,
bumper boats, that kind of thing. So the one that we had we called it, I mean, I don't know if it was ever called Vernon Golfland, but we always called it Vernon Golfland. It became,
I think that's what everyone called it.
I think it became Connecticut Golfland at that point because they were trying to like spread their net.
We can't limit our market to this town.
Yeah. But it's been closed now for at least 5 years. Would you say? They tried to reopen it at one point. I think they tried to.
They tried to They did.
Yeah, it was open again for a little bit, but they didn't do the batting cages. They didn't do the bumper boats. They had
the only thing that would make them money.
They pretty much had like the golf, and then they had a 3-hole, par 3 golf there too, 9 holes.
Yeah, we used to slay that.
We did. Little duckies would be running across the green. So it was like a really fun place to kind of go and just, you could do a bunch of different things there. And then they also had inside, they had, a nice little arcade in there. They had, some skee ball. I remember they had Daytona, and then they had Daytona 2.
Yeah, they had a solid selection for a fairly small arcade.
They had Time Crisis. They had House of the Dead at one point. They had the Capcom Multicade that had
I thought they had
a bunch of the
Was it
the classic
Capcom or was it Neo Geo?
Capcom. Because we ended up, we used to play like Knights of the Round and those kinds of games.
Oh, it was Capcom?
Yeah.
Wait, do you say Gunblade?
Gunblade was there.
Was it Gunblade? It wasn't.
Or LA Machine Guns.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was LA Machine. One of those two.
Might have been LA Machine Guns. Yeah, you stop playing that and your whole body's shaking. For any of you guys who never played Gunblade New York or LA Machine Guns, it had this hulking.
It's like a bazooka.
Yeah, it was like a. What would you call? What kind of a gun is that? Is it like a
Gatling?
Like a rifle? Like a automatic rifle? It was almost like an automatic rifle.
Like a machine gun.
Or a machine gun.
Yeah.
And this thing was powered up, and it would just shake
it like
back and forth as you would shoot. Talk about another game that's gone crazy on the Wii is Gunblade New York in terms of value. Yeah. But it was an experience. Let's put it that way. So it was a fun place to play, a fun place to go when we were kids, and it was right around the corner. So it was just kind of like the place you went when you wanted to play arcades, and you weren't going to the mall, and maybe somebody wanted to do some mini golf. You kind of just mixed it all together. And so it's been closed now for several years, but it's kind of been like just barren. It's just kind of been sitting, and the mini golf course has started to like overgrow.
It's like all the stuff's still there.
Yeah, everything is still there, and it just kind of started to look decrepit. But so I'm driving by the other day, and it kind of hit me because they were literally ripping everything up.
Oh, they were?
They had like an excavator, and they had all this stuff, and everything, like the everything was ripped up, and it was just like, it kind of hit me that like this place is really gone.
Right in my heart.
It was like, wow, this is not happening ever again. Like, there's no chance of this.
The finality of it.
There was a finality of it. It was like, okay, you're completely cut off, and it's almost like you weren't mourning that place because it was like, oh, it's just closed for now, and they're gonna open it again, and then you see literally like diggers and like backhoes and bulldozers like taking this whole thing down, and it's like, okay, now it's real. It's not going to be there. And, it was just a place that we spent a lot of time with. My most vivid memory of this place, so much of our childhood, we tell stories on this podcast, and so much of it comes from, things like this. And so I remember when I had my first, like, girlfriend that I ever had back in the day, and we had broken up or whatever. And I remember a few weeks later, I see her holding this other dude's hand, and I was like, talk about like your heart broken. It was like, it wasn't enough that like we were done.
You're like, bitch, a week?
Yeah,
it's only been a week.
Yeah, and I see her holding this dude's hand, and it was like,
you trifling.
I totally felt like I had been played. It's like that gut wrenching feeling when like somebody like just stabs you in the heart. And I was just like, I was so dejected. And I remember I had gotten home from school, and I yelled at her. Actually, I gave her like this necklace, and she had it in her
God.
locker, and I was screaming at her in the hallway, like, "Give me the damn necklace!"
Like a maniac.
Yeah, like a crazy person. I remember one of the teachers took me in her room, and she's like, "Let's talk this out, man. Like, what you did was not cool." You know, I felt bad about it afterwards, and you know, we have since made up on that, but
I would hope so.
I would hope so, right? We were 14, but I remember getting home from school after this whole thing and just feeling terrible. And my brother had gotten home. He was in high school, and he gets home, and I was like, dude, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I feel like complete dog shit right now. And I was telling him what was up, and
He was like, that's it. We're going to Vernon Golf.
yeah. He's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, can you take me to Vernon Golfland? And so we both went, and I don't know if we played golf, but we definitely played some of the arcades. We played Daytona, and it just made me feel better. It was just like a way to escape from, you know, the realities of adolescence and like puberty and some of the stuff that kind of got in your way. It was like you had this escape to go to this place that was just all about fun. That's all it was. It was just about pure amusement, getting away, doing something that was really cool, and it kind of helped me like through that day just kind of like get over it. You know, it was what I needed. It was that bump that I needed to just kind of like get over the hump, so to speak, you know? And so having that memory of that place and just what happened, then you drive by it, right? Like however many years later, what is it? Like 23 years later. And I'm like 14 again, and I've just broken up with Erica, and I'm back at Vernon Golfland. You know, like there's just like this like this feeling that comes over you because it's real, it's gone, you know, and it's just a sad thing, you know.
Was that recently?
I'll live.
They just like, I mean, I'll get over it eventually.
Yeah. No. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
Because, you know, we talk about on this podcast how like our memories of video games is kind of intertwined with everything that we were doing as kids, and a place like that is intertwined with that. So it, you know, it even hits you now when you're a late 30 something and you see it happen. It's like, that's the reality of the progression of time. Like there's not really arcades anymore. And even the ones that do exist are like so overdone with all this other stuff now.
So mainstream, man.
Even like Dave and Buster's now, everything is just, it just seems kind of a little bit more generic, you know?
Yeah. More like the prize games, like the ticket games.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you're pulling on a wheel to win tickets. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Push the coins over the ledge.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to distill it down too much. There's still some fun games there, but it's just different. It's just not the same as it was. And maybe it's just me getting older. I don't know. Maybe that's the big difference.
You got to appeal to a wider audience now, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. But Vernon Golfland is no more, and
well, maybe they'll put like one of those Taco Bell Pizza Hut places, and then they'll put like one arcade game,
one
in
Neo
there,
Geo,
just to kind of
MVS,
just to kind of keep the memory going.
keep
you know?
it alive.
Just one arcade game in there.
Yeah. But yeah, they did a great job. I mean, they had a couple pinball machines. I think they had like Addams Family.
It's funny because I was just gonna say that. I was like, I think they had Addams Family there.
It was definitely, yeah. It was in that, like, you walk in and to the back left.
Yeah,
They had those arcade units.
Yeah, they had a couple skee ball ones. I'm trying to think of like the other ones. All the standard skee ball. I think they had the Gator one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was the last place that I saw a cigarette dispenser.
Really?
Yeah, there was a cigarette. You know, like that back door where you would go out to do like the mini golf start area.
Yeah.
Right there, right next to the soda machine, there was an old fashioned cigarette dispenser.
That's where you got to pull the crank, right?
Look up a cigarette dispenser, everybody. That's you just pull that crank. You know, whatever it is, $1.25 for a pack of cigarettes. At that point, you know, back in the 80s,
you'd have to put like 27 quarters into it now.
Well, how much is a pack of cigarettes?
I don't like $5-6, maybe more. I have no clue, honestly.
I don't know. Like 10 years ago, it was like, I felt like it was like $10
for a pack.
For a pack of cigarettes. Yeah.
Well, that's why you shouldn't smoke.
Well, I don't. But
no, I know. I don't have no idea. I couldn't even make a guess.
I don't know.
$6. That's low, I guess. $6. I don't know. 10,
it'll be a show note for for the next podcast.
People smoking a pack a day. Yikes!
It's a lot of tar. So one game that we've been playing a lot lately is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a modern game They just came out with Valhalla, which is the more Nordic version of it.
Yeah, I've heard it brought up many times.
Yeah, well, it is it's the parlance of our times, Trent. And when I say our times, I mean this month.
Right.
It's kind of, this is not a retro game, but stay with me here. It's a breath of fresh air though for that series. Assassin's Creed is a series that started the previous generation, right? But it kind of was a little clunky. Like, have you ever played an Assassin's Creed game from back then?
No, I have 2 of them on the Wii U. I've never played Black Flag and
I played through
one of
3.
the other ones.
I played through 3, the one in like the civil, not the Revolutionary War
I don't
period.
know. I have both of them. I've just never played them.
Yeah,
I've never played any of the Assassin's Creed game.
So, they were fine, but they were like just a little clunky. The controls were a little clunky. There's a million things on the map that you don't care about.
It's like more of a slow moving game.
It's just, the best way I can describe it is just like mundane and clunky. Like there's just.
But it's still good, right? No,
they're okay. They were okay, but they got very tired because they just kept making the same kind of game, and there was no innovation in it. It was just
the same game, a different setting.
Just the same thing, and it almost was like Nintendo 64 syndrome all over again, where it was just like a million collectibles, no like real reason why to collect them other than it's on the map.
Yeah.
So and the combat was just sort of like wait. Keep your sword up. Okay, parry and then attack them, but there was no nuance to it. You just kind of held and waited, and then it was just very kind of boring. So this new one is amazing. It's like, my word, phenomenal. Like it's just I've never played any of these new ones. I think it's Origins and then Odyssey and then Valhalla. So this is like sort of the Greek setting, version of the new Assassin's Creed, the reimagining of it. And it's great. I mean, it's an open world game that has really solid combat. It's got, you care about the game. Like you want to go deeper into it because it's very interesting. The characters are interesting. The story's good. Like I said, the adventuring and the exploration, it's got that, ooh, what's over there moment. Like that quality where it's like, oh, I wonder what's over there. Ooh, like you're doing a mission,
mm-hmm.
but then you get sidetracked because you see something that there's a bullet point on the map and you're like, I wonder what's over there. Let's go check that out. And then you get lost and you forget about the original thing that you were doing. It's kind of got that quality to it. So it kind of made me think, and I wanted to ask you, because this series has kind of been reinvented and it's even better. Are there any games from like the 16 or 32, 64-bit era that sort of maybe had a rebirth from a previous generation that almost was better than it was originally that we can think of? I mean, I wrote down a couple here that I can just kind of, spur the conversation, but I was thinking maybe Mega Man, but I don't know. Street Fighter?
I thought Mega Man kind of fell off on the 32-bit.
They had like the Mega Man X series. Like
you're saying going from Nintendo to Super Nintendo? I thought
either one, but I kind of, I wasn't sure. I was thinking either that or Street Fighter. Like Street Fighter got better when it got to like the Alpha series. Like Street Fighter 2.
Actually, that's when I fell off, was the Alpha series.
Alpha, I mean, a lot of like the mainstream fighting guys. Like,
no, I know.
Street Fighter Alpha 2 is like the best version. Like a lot of them say. One that I
know. Well, I'd say, I mean, I would say Mortal Kombat
got better in the 32-bit era. Didn't really have a reimagining though.
Well, no. Well, you're saying in the 32-bit era. I was thinking like when they made it into like 3D on like the 360 and like PS3.
Oh, the 3D versions.
They kind of, it was like, now it's like a series. Like before, it was kind of like, started out, it wasn't really like the serious fighting game. It was kind of just like a fighting game, and then like now it's like the go-to like
it's
fighting game
now.
for like tournaments and everything.
But that's more modern. Modern ones.
I mean, you could. Well, they only made like one. You could say like Ninja Turtles from Nintendo to the Super Nintendo. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's arguable though, right? I mean, which one's better? I think we both agree we like the arcade game the best from that and Turtles in Time, but that's more of a, they're both really good.
Castlevania.
I was thinking like EA, like you know how we talked about Celtics versus Lakers or Lakers versus Celtics, how they went from that, and this is the same generation, but they went from that
NBA Live?
to NBA Live, and that was a whole different type of a thing, and that game is light years better,
Yeah.
like light years better. You know, I'm sure there's more examples. Another one that I'm, you know, it's close to me is World Series Baseball. I can't stand World Series Baseball on Genesis.
Really?
I hate that game.
Oh, I like it.
I
Oh,
don't-
90, I don't know. The World Series 95.
The swinging, I don't get like that first person perspective, but you can't really tell where the ball is, and you're not aiming your bat, even though it's got that view where it looks like.
I mean, definitely the Saturn one is better.
World Series
It's way
Baseball
better.
'98.
But I mean, I do
is-
like the Genesis version.
Yeah, but that could be seen as like a progression in the series where it's like this newer version that's even better, and it's a whole different engine, you know, than the previous one. Another one is
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear to Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Like that's another one where like Metal Gear Solid
Well,
is
it kinda
phenomenal.
Yeah, I pretty much like skipped a generation.
It
It didn't go. It wasn't on 16.
right. It wasn't a 16-bit, but that's okay because
Yeah.
it started on the Nintendo, right, or the MSX and the Nintendo. But another one I was thinking of, which again could be arguable, but like NBA Jam to Showtime, you know, like the original NBA Jam. But again, that could be a preference thing too.
I was just gonna say. I was like, well, it depends on.
what you want to
Yeah.
play that night,
Yeah.
right? I mean, do you want to play more NBA Jam or do you want to play? And if it's the Jaguar version, forget about it.
Oh, forget it. Hey, what you fucking talking about now?
Yeah. So I guess like NBA Live would be the best kind of example of that, of where like they totally reinvented it, and that might be a better.
I mean, I guess
example
with
too.
kind of those, it's kind of. I mean, you kind of have to reinvent it
right.
with the next generation. You know.
Well, but now they're not making. I mean, they are making new properties, but they're just sticking with the old ones, and they're like, okay, how do we do better with what this is? I mean,
Well, I mean, we're at the point now where it's like.
it's all about creativity.
Well, no, I'm just saying in terms of like the next generation. There's not really. You go from PS4 to PS5. There's not like.
By the way, who has a PS5? Like I still don't see them anywhere. And we're what, like 5 months in?
Yeah.
Are they making those things, or what's going on there?
One per store. I have no idea. I don't even like follow.
I don't even feel an urge to even get one though. Like there's no reason I feel like I need to. This game looks amazing on my stock like launch PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. Like the generation gap in terms of the graphics or anything is that whole idea is like gone. We've hit like a peak.
Mm-hmm.
We're like unless there's some new introduction to the way you play the system on the next.
There's like not only a peak, like a limiting factor, no longer is there these large jumps in generations.
Yeah, I know.
Where you're seeing like
like the technology
yeah,
isn't.
you're not going from Mario World to Mario 64 anymore.
Yeah,
you know.
So there's really, I don't know, not much progression anymore in terms of sports games or just kind of anything. Unless I don't even know what would you do. You couldn't just like, all right, well, next year's Madden is just gonna be a whole
On
new
the moon.
different. Yeah,
We're gonna play on the moon.
it's like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know. Offhand, I can't really think of another one, but you know that is one where they did it within the same generation. You had Lakers versus Celtics in 90, and then by 1994 you had NBA Live, and they just, I mean, could they have made NBA Live back in 90? They probably could have, but they just needed time to.
They didn't know
work it out.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
It was like, all right, well, this is how it's going to be left to right.
Lakers versus Celtics is like an IBM, like an IBM PC game,
Bulls versus Blazers,
and the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just made me think. Like, is there another game? So I mean, let us know, guys, if there's other games that you think have maybe made that leap or made that change to make the series even better. Whether it's in the same generation or in a new generation, just got that much better. I'm trying to think of any like 64 games that were
on the Super Nintendo or
that
Nintendo.
were yeah. Anything that was like Pilot Wings. I think Pilot Wings 64 is.
Well,
just the 3D alone makes it a whole reimagined thing.
I
And
mean,
the
I guess
the
you could say
physics-
that about like every
No, I know.
64 game. You know,
But it seemed like the physics got so much better from like the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo
Right.
64 with that game at least.
I don't know. I guess like Star Fox is still kind of like the same thing, just 64-bit.
Right.
Still kind of handles.
Well,
and
that's
plays
more
the same way.
more of an like a evolution of the same formula
Yeah.
where like NBA, like the original NBA from EA and then NBA Live is like
Yeah, they changed the whole game pretty much.
That's like a revolution, right? You
Yeah.
know, to use a trite term. So, I don't know. You got me thinking about it. I thought it was an interesting topic to chat about.
Well, it
but-
didn't work for Sonic for the most part.
No, I mean I really like Sonic Adventure. I really like Sonic Adventure, but it's not Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 or 4.
Or Sonic and Knuckles.
That's what I mean, Sonic and Knuckles, sorry. Or Sonic Mania.
Which one? Oh, what's Sonic Mania?
That's the one that came out for Switch and PS4 and Xbox 3.
Okay,
Xbox
yeah.
One.
Well, yeah, that's later in life.
Right. That's the Christian Whitehead produced version, which is again phenomenal.
If it ain't broke,
Yeah.
don't fix it.
Yep. So, all right. Well, I think it's about time to talk about stone protectors,
That's what everyone has.
which
been
I didn't
waiting
even give an
for.
introduction to. Our episodes on stone protectors. Did I mention this?
No, you didn't.
I didn't. We're talking about stone protectors, everybody. What else would we be talking about?
Well, it's gonna be it's gonna be in the title. It's not just gonna say like episode 22 and nothing there, and it's not like they're not gonna know.
No, it's not going to show up until this timestamp, until 45 minutes.
Yeah, then it pops up.
Yeah, then they're going to see that, and they're
There's
going to
gonna
say,
be no graphic either. It's just gonna be a blank screen. A game. It's gonna say.
Yeah. So, well, we'll get into stone protectors a little bit more after the break. We will be right back, and here is a word from our sponsor.
The name is Max. I'm a skater blader. One slice from me and it's see you later.
Chester's my name, and I like food. Like to squeeze bad guys with my wrestling moves. My name is Angus. Gus to my pals. I'll make anything into an arsenal.
Cornelius is my name, memorize my thing. Fight like a warrior, sing like the king.
They call me Cliff and I like to climb. Put the drop on bad dudes anytime.
We're the Stone Protectors. Our stones of power glow.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back from our break, and I barely got to
Refreshed.
mention the title of what we're doing today, which is Stone Protectors, of course. It's Stone Protectors, right? We're talking about beat 'em ups. We're talking about mid '90s. We're talking
Classic.
about action. We're talking about slamming, hanging, and banging.
Muscles, fighting.
You know, we were gonna do a different episode. This episode 22 was supposed to be.
We threw the script out.
It was supposed to be American Gladiators. That was supposed to be the episode. And it's not.
Because it is so bad.
So sometimes games are bad in a good way. Like they're so bad they're good.
Like you actually want to talk about how bad they
Right.
are. And this-
And so we thought that American Gladiators would be kind of a fun thing. I played it. It was part of my history. And I had some stories to tell about that probably weren't that interesting, but they were stories nonetheless.
I mean, it was going to be more about the show than the game, but it turned out that the game was
The
so
games-
bad.
Well, they're just so mundane, and there's almost nothing in them that it's hard to even find things really to talk about.
Like you're literally done with the game in like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's it.
There's a reason why the games go for like $2.
Well, I mean, you should have figured when it was made by Game Tech, which is known for Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy.
Jeopardy. Yeah, they probably made better versions of that.
Yeah, I mean, you
Marginally better.
can't really fuck up. I mean, you could fuck up Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, but I mean,
I really like the Wheel of Fortune version on the Tandy 1000 that we used to play back in the day.
sure.
It was fantastic. Vanna White had red hair.
Wow. So it wasn't Vanna White?
Well, I mean, it only had like 3 colors.
Oh, I
So,
gotcha.
mean, they had to do something. I mean, the background was yellow, so they couldn't make
Yeah.
her hair yellow. You know?
Actually, the Wheel of Fortune on 64 is not that bad.
No?
Yeah.
It's got probably some more modern questions
Fun little doozy, yeah.
than the Tandy 1000.
But yeah, Gladiators, I really wasn't expecting it to be like... All right, so the Super Nintendo version has zero sound effects. There's there's no sound in the game. There's just one track that plays over and over again.
Yep.
Like just the basic like sound effects. I thought something was wrong with the game. I was like, why is it just nothing happening?
And the difficulty of the CPU player is cranked up to the point where
you
can't win.
Yeah, like jousting is like the control is just terrible.
It's definitely not a pick up and play kind of like I'm gonna win this kind of game. It's like if you do want to get good, you probably have to put in work. And then why would you do that? Because it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, the end is just like the last where you go through like that gauntlet obstacle course, and you just look like a crackhead. You're just like typing. You just like the way they run. They got like a forward lean.
Yes.
And you just like literally just
smacking at the.
You just
controller.
like tapping the A and B or X and Y, whatever, and that's literally the whole game.
It's one of those games that we have better memories playing it than when we play it now. It's like we thought it was pretty decent, and then you play it now, and it's like, wow, this was really not decent
At all. But you know what? I still need to get a copy of the NES version because I feel like that's actually better than either one of the, which is a low bar, but
well, it's like Smash TV, right?
Well, Smash TV is still good on the Super Nintendo.
No. I'm just saying, like, it was way better than it should have been.
Oh, okay, yeah,
is what I mean.
I have a feeling that the NES version has to be better than that. I mean, if it has sound effects, it's already better than the Super Nintendo version. Yeah,
I think the Nintendo, in general, the controls are just it's just a console that has really tight controls generally. On most games. You need a coffee over there? You good?
Hey,
you all right? So Stone Protectors is not, just to give you guys a preface this here. This is not a game that we played as kids, but we kind of wanted to create a conversation about mid-90s beat-em-ups or early to mid-90s beat-em-ups because it is such a prominent part of our podcast and one of those games that's really easy to go back to just pick up and play if you want to play a game, you want to have fun with a friend. Usually these are two-player experiences, and it's something that's really easy to get into. There's not a whole lot to think about. There's no menus. It's just pick up the controller, start beating up on somebody, and go to town.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So Stone Protectors came out at the very end of 1994. So I want to kind of set the stage here a little bit.
Yeah, which is surprising. It's like
November or December of 94.
The end of the Super Nintendo.
I couldn't find any reviews on it. There are some reviews, I think, from GamePro, which was in the December issue of GamePro. Or excuse me, the January issue of GamePro.
January 94 or 95?
January of 95.
Yeah.
So it would have been like a November or December game because the magazines came out a month early. Like if it was the January episode, it came out in December. So this game had to have come out either November or December is my guess, is when it came out. There's nothing really online about it as far as like the official release date.
Trying to get that holiday sweep. Everyone's going to get Stone Protectors.
Right. Well, but it came out in a sea of a lot of other stuff. I mean, that year in 1994, you had like King of Dragons, you had Legend that had come out for Super Nintendo, you had Streets of Rage 3 had come out, you had Battletoads versus Double Dragon, which was a decent game that came out in 1993.
Had a little notoriety to it too.
You had Power Rangers was right around the corner. You had what's the one that I keep forgetting? It's the Peacekeepers or Peacekeepers 2 or whatever one
from their Rival Turf series.
Rival Turf. So like it came out in an era that had already had a ton of beat 'em ups. It was almost like a saturated genre.
It was literally it was like the last one that came out on the Super Nintendo.
It was a game that was forgotten before it even came out.
Well, you're talking the end of 94 when the PlayStation was just around the corner.
PlayStation, Saturn, the Jaguar was in full effect. Lots of Jaguar talk going on end of 94. 32X had come out.
Well, it was more talk than playing.
Yeah, definitely more talk than playing.
Yeah, lots of
yeah, but
I think Stone Protector sold more copies than the Jaguar system.
That's saying something. So the reason why I wanted to talk about Stone Protectors is because
it's the game we're covering.
And like I said, it was almost forgotten before it had come out. It was supposed to have a Genesis port that never came out. It was supposed to have a cartoon that never came out. And the Super Nintendo...
the cartoon never actually came out?
I don't think it ever aired.
I think you may be wrong there.
I might be wrong. It'll be a show note.
Oh, okay. I think I think the season. I think it only had one season.
Had one season, but I don't know if that season ever aired. I think it was just the action figures and the Super Nintendo game
Okay.
that came out. I don't think so, but I could be wrong about that.
Could be right because I I have no idea where.
Do you ever remember seeing the cartoon?
Just the action figures.
No.
And then I grabbed them.
And there's a Kickstarter that came out. As of this recording, it was about a month ago, and they hit their goal. But it was all about kind of creating a digital version of the cartoon, the Genesis version of the game, the Super Nintendo version of the game, a comic book, like all like in one package that you could grab. Through the Kickstarter.
It's
and
making a comeback.
They've hit their goal, so it looks like they're going to make it. And of course, I slept on it. Didn't do the kickback.
A ditto here.
Kickstarter back, and so I missed out on that Elite series. But the Genesis version sounds like it would be a kind of a cool thing to check out after playing the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Anyways,
see how it handles.
I digress, but the reason why I think Stone Protectors is cool is because it was kind of missed. And it's actually a very, very good game. It's a well-produced beat-em-up game that really checks all the boxes, in my opinion. Because it brings together, really cool-looking characters in that anthropomorphic kind of style. It's trolls, right? It was like the cool version of trolls to kind of appeal.
Everything was juiced. They were all juiced up.
Yep. Each troll has their own moveset, almost like the Turtles, right? So it's definitely a ripoff of something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Streets of Rage.
I would. It wouldn't handle. It doesn't handle as well as like Turtles in Time.
No,
but, I mean you got to lower your expectations a little bit. But it does. The way it's different is that each one has their kind of own moveset, and then like after you beat that first level, like you do this combination of moves, and this is like your new power move. So it kind of sets itself apart from that, and it has a little bit more varied moves. Like you have you have your weapon, you have the punch, the kick, the throw.
Right, but they don't kind of like aggressively go after the weapons. Like it's like they're a part of it, but it's not something you can lean on.
Yeah.
And they also don't have a bunch of extra weapons. It actually might have been cool if they had like a bunch of extra weapons that you could use during the level. It seems like there's like maybe one.
Yeah, you pick up like one or
like a hockey
two
stick
here
or a
and there.
whip or something like that. But it has like, for one, it has really good music. The music is like rock and roll.
Yeah. What you would think
80s rock and roll style music.
What would you think a Ninja Turtles ripoff would sound like is what it sounds like.
Yeah. There's some really cool, we talked about with Sunset Riders, some of the transparency effects. There's some really cool transparency effects.
And the parallax.
And there's parallax scrolling.
The lava.
There's some line scrolling in some of the levels. You get some of the foreground scrolling where you have a foreground image that's kind of like scrolling along while you're playing, which is kind of
like the rocks or something.
That really wasn't something that you saw a whole lot of until, let's say, like a stall on the Saturn, where you had like this really prominent foreground area that was scrolling by as you were walking through the level. I don't even think Turtles in Time had a whole lot of that. I think it was pretty much just like you're in the level,
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Streets of Rage had a little bit of that with like the light posts.
As
you're walking by. Batman, the original Batman on Genesis had that when you're walking past the light post, but nothing where there was like a whole foreground sort of image that was there that you were walking through. That was, you could clearly tell was in front. So it did some graphically some really, really cool stuff that we hadn't really seen that much, especially in that generation. And because it was a later game, I think that Eurocom, the developer, was actually able to take advantage of quite a bit with that. Like I said, it would have been interesting to see what the Genesis port would have been, because it has that thud. You know how you talk about like when you play a beat 'em up and you want to get that smash. But the Super Nintendo itself, it has more of a muffled sound to it in general, as it is just that sound chip.
Genesis has that.
The Genesis is more crisp and crunchy, so it'd be interesting to see. But even still, on the Super Nintendo, you're getting that effect. It's got a pretty decent set of enemies in terms of variation. Even the regular enemies sometimes they'll come out with different kinds of armor and things like that.
Yeah, and then you'll take some of their half their life away, and then their armor will fly off, and it'll just kind of look like a normal.
So it has that extra little pizzazz to it, where like the Chester is if you're not moving for a while, he's just juggling grenades.
Yeah.
just juggling grenades just while you're waiting for the next animation, almost that Sonic effect where he's like, tapping his foot, just waiting for you to go. And every level has a bunch of animation going on. Like the first level you get into and there's snow falling.
Yeah, and then it has the footprint effect kind of when you're walking.
Right,
they leave
which
like the footprint.
Isn't really convincing. It just looks like a block.
Yeah, I know, but it's still kind of cool.
It's cool that they put it in there. But then you go into the underground level and there's rats running around. Or you go to the beach level and there's a seagull and there's like crabs running around. So there's like a lot of sort of extra touches that are going on.
The hands trying to grab you in the sand too.
Yeah, exactly.
The sands of time.
Which kind of the hands like coming out of the sand grabbing you, it almost is like the like on the pirate ship in Hyperstone Heist,
when you hit the plank.
Or yeah,
when you
hit the plank and it smacks you in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like those obstacles that are in the way that you have to watch out for. So, it's just all together when you combine all the aspects of it, it's just a well-produced game, and it just came out at a time when there was so many other games that had flooded the market. This is that Final Fight 3 effect where they're just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Wasn't it one of the reviews like a 3 or a 5 or something like that? Just like
on Final Fight 3?
Yeah. It might have been like a 5.
Was it? Oh, why do I feel like when we look back on it, people like really liked it, and then we were just like, this doesn't play well at all.
That's more modern reviews. On the games. Like it's hard to find a review where people aren't like, oh, but this is one of the best beat 'em ups ever. You got to play it.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's really not. But this is a game that is. This is a game that is worth playing. That is a lot of fun. If you like games like Turtles in Time and you're looking for another option of something to play, this is the next game you guys got to try because it's another. If you like beat 'em ups, there's that echelon of like Final Fight, Streets of Rage, Turtles in Time, or Teenage Ninja Turtles, and then it's like what else comes underneath that? I feel like Stone Protectors is one of those that's like just underneath those, like that pantheon of those three. It's kind of underneath there. I mean, it kind of reminds me of almost like Power Rangers on Sega.
On the Sega,
where it's like it's good. It's not amazing.
It was like surprisingly good. I was like, was it the movie or the regular one? I can't remember now. We're like, yeah. I mean, it's not flashy or anything, but we're like, it's pretty solid.
And the one thing I like about both Power Rangers and this game is that there's really interesting cutscenes where they're like pushing a story.
Yeah, the presentation of it.
Almost like Battletoads.
Yeah.
Like where there's like you beat a level and then there's another part of the story and you're getting more of okay, what who's the next henchman they're gonna throw at me?
We want your stones.
Yeah, how is Zink and Zoc, how are they reacting to you every time you beat a certain level and defeat a boss? What's the next little cutscene? You start doing the voices yourself, for how they're talking, and the animation's really cool. So,
even at the beginning when you just kind of let it play through in the beginning, kind of cool.
Like the attract mode.
Yeah.
Where they're
no, I'm saying like it'll kind of give you like the story.
Oh yeah.
When you're just letting it play through, it'll just little animations like the gun, the shooting the guns, and yeah, it actually it does have that like cartoon look, even if it's just simple like. Just like 2 frames of a mouth moving, still looks pretty solid,
I'm telling you, that chick that is on the Stone Protector side looks literally a carbon copy of the chick from Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Hey, you gotta take what works,
There might be just some like shenanigans going on there because that's a rare property.
Some shenanigans,
and I don't think they had permission to use the characters from.
Well, her hair swoops to the left as the other swoops to the right.
I'd love to see a side by side of those two together. But yeah, so it was developed by Eurocom and published by Kemco. Kemco, as a publisher, produced such gems as
here we go. Bring them out.
Space Hunter for Nintendo, Desert Commander, Ghost Lion.
I'll let you know when I've heard of
the
one.
Sword of Hope 2, Kid Clown in Nightmare World, Dr. Franken.
Wait, are you saying Nightmare, like Nightmare?
No, Mayor. Well, yeah, I guess.
Mayor.
Mayor.
Are these real games? These can't be real games.
Prehistoric Man for SNES.
I know that one. That was like the Joe and Mac ripoff.
They did a Virtual Boy game, Virtual League Baseball.
Oh wow, good for them.
Kid Clown in Crazy Chase 2. The Bombing Islands,
Okay.
Knife Edge Nose Gunner,
Some of these can't be.
Twisted Edge Extreme Snowboarding.
Oh, on
for
64. Yeah, terrible.
And then the one I haven't mentioned, which is probably their most famous game, is Top Gear. So they did Top Gear,
Hyperbike.
Top Gear 3000, Top Gear 2, Top Gear Rally.
What about on 64? Top Gear Hyperbike. That was actually pretty solid. I don't know if they still had the name, or unless someone else took the name from them.
It might have been. I don't know. I stopped it at Deja Vu 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color. So,
Yeah, maybe they had a lot of gems there, huh?
yeah, but Eurocom is a kind of a more interesting story because they did Stone Protectors. That was kind of their first big game, and then they did I don't know. Dino Dini's Soccer is probably not noteworthy.
Dino Dini.
Yeah, Dino Dini. Brutal Paws of Fury. Brutal Paws
Jesus.
of Fury.
You just really stop it at that. It's like, well, all right.
Well, they did the Jungle Book,
Okay.
which was actually a really
Yeah.
pretty good game. You know how you said that Game Tech did Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy? Well, these guys did Family Feud.
Oh, I was gonna say. I was about to say that too.
Yeah. They did the Game Boy and Game Gear versions of Earthworm Jim.
It was on the Game Gear.
Oh yeah.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't think I knew that.
They did Spot Goes to Hollywood on Genesis, which I actually really like.
I know one of those is pretty decent. Is it the Hollywood one? Probably.
Cool Spot is
What's the one on the Saturn?
Is the one on Genesis, the original that's like left to right. But then Spot Goes
The
to Hollywood
isometric,
is
right?
the isometric one. And I like that. Some people don't like the isometric. They kind of can't judge distance in those games, but I don't know.
Is the Saturn one any good?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. They made it for Genesis too.
Yeah.
That was the Eurocom one was for Genesis. They did Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on Saturn. So they kind of were like a port house, really, but they did some good stuff. Maui Mallard and Cold Shadow.
Wow.
They did Cruisin' World for 64. Hercules for
You're saying
PlayStation.
they just published it. They didn't.
No, they developed the version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't. They just ported it basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like they didn't create
The property. No. Duke Nukem 64, which is a good game. Mortal Kombat 4 on 64 and PlayStation. They did Duke Nukem 0 Hour. They did NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC. Hydro Thunder, Mortal Kombat Gold, and NBA Hoops 2001, which is a recent pickup of yours.
Yeah.
That I'd like to try.
NBA Hoops.
NBA Hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but those are really good games. I mean, they did Showtime, the version that came out on Dreamcast, and that's a really good game. I mean, that's one of my favorites that I go to on the Dreamcast. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like the 3D NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they didn't do the Dreamcast version. They did the 64 and PlayStation versions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Someone else did the Dreamcast version?
I'm guessing Midway did it themselves.
Good for them. Good
Yeah.
for them.
But, I mean, they've got some bangers in here in terms of, like, the port was actually done really well.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess it's like, here, we have a good game. Just make it, but don't fuck it up.
Yeah, just port it over. But Stone Protectors is one of those games that they actually, like, was an original development that they
from the
produced.
ground up. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, of the games that they originally produced, that's probably one of the better ones because they did James Bond Jr., Lethal Weapon on NES. They did Rodland on Game Boy. Rodland. Yeah.
Is it Dennis Rodman's World?
No.
It's his theme park.
If I had to guess, I think it's a pretty decent like action platformer.
Rodland.
Yeah.
that could be. It's the most generic name ever.
Yeah. Well, Jungle Book is something they produced. That wasn't a port, right?
Oh, they made it themselves.
Yeah. Earthworm Jim, no. Street Fighter 2, definitely not. Spot Goes to Hollywood, that was an original production. Maui Mallard. So I mean, there's some gems in here that they developed.
Rodland.
You looking at a picture of Rodland?
It's because it literally can sound like any kind of game.
I think it's like a action platformer, or at least a puzzle platformer.
All right, I guess so. Oh, it's an arcade game, huh? You said it was on the Game Boy?
It is?
Well, I typed in Rodland and it came up as arcade game.
Really?
Yeah. What the fuck?
What is it?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the. Did this? I feel like this didn't even come out. Like,
No, I think it did.
Rodland.
Is it like a puzzle platformer?
I don't know. I keep seeing. I'm trying to find like a Game Boy version. It's all like arcade versions. Yeah, it kind of looks like a puzzle platformer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. What a weird name. A monkey and a rabbit, two colored haired, and a shark.
It's definitely
and a snail.
It's definitely a Japan like a Japan thing where like you don't bring a game to the U.S. and call it Rodland.
Yeah.
Knowingly.
Something got messed up in translation.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Pac-Man. You know, it was supposed to be. You know, they didn't want the. It's supposed to be like Paku.
Oh yeah, Puckman.
Puckman. Yeah, and like they didn't want to make it.
Yeah.
Puck because people were gonna change the P. So
they were gonna change the P to fuck. F as in fuck, baby.
But they clearly didn't do that with Rodland. So, I don't know. I mean, we just wanted to highlight this game because it is actually really good. And if you've played through games like Streets of Rage and you've played through games like Turtles in Time and you're thirsting for more, Stone Protectors is a solid entry. It's
the sprite of your video game. It's gonna quench your thirst.
Yeah, it's an excellent game.
I mean, I can't say it's like amazing.
No, I didn't say it's amazing.
Okay, I know, but you feel like we're given a lot of praise. It's. I mean, I think you gotta lower your expectations a little bit.
If your expectations are
Streets of Rage, yeah. If your expectations are like Streets of Rage, Turtles in Time.
If you like those style of games, is what I'm trying to say.
I just don't want to mislead anybody.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course. But it's got a lot of style. It's just it's a game that
you can
tell that
it is the 90s.
It wasn't that they were just like, okay, make this game and we're gonna pay you guys for it, and they just kind of half-assed it. It looks like they actually put a lot of care into the development of the game, and it has all those. It checks, like I said, it checks all the boxes. It's got everything. It's got the music. It's got the sound effects. It's got the characters. It's got the move set. It's got the
presentation,
animation. Yeah, it's got the presentation. It's got the graphics. So when you add all those things up, it makes it at least a very good game, if not, an amazing game like some of the ones that we've talked about that we've lauded as the top of the genre.
I mean, it's a solid playthrough too. I think
missions.
the first time we played it and played through it was like 45 minutes, an hour
to an hour.
Yeah.
It's on the longer side.
Yeah.
A little bit, but it's
not like it gets like really boring, But hey, you know what it does have?
What does it have?
An elevator level.
It does have an elevator level, which is
not technically not an elevator, but you're on like this rock. You're in the lava,
vertically
in the lava level,
moving.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then you land in like the lava pit, fighting the lava monster.
Yeah. So like some of the bosses, there's no real. It's kind of clunky when you're going against the bosses because you're like the was that one on the second level where the Zoc or whatever, he's on his machine and just scrolling back and forth and like trying to get that like sweet spot where he won't roll you over and you can still hit him.
It's like fighting Krang in like Turtles in Time or the arcade game.
I still feel like those have more of like it's easier to attack them. I don't know if it's like a pattern or it's just you learn after time.
It's easier to kind of understand the rules of the battle and like where you can be and where you can't be. Whereas in a game like Stone Protectors, it's almost like there's a kind of a fuzzy line between where am I going to get hit and where can I do damage.
Like the Tackle Jackal.
That guy just crushed me. Yeah, you need two players on that.
Throwing balls and there's
throwing rocks.
Your character doesn't move as fast as him either. So it's like,
and you can't run. I don't think
so. Like he's throwing the ball, you got to dodge that, and then you got to try to. You kind of like walk at it like a diagonal plane, and then try to just hit him a couple times.
Or throw him.
Yeah, and their life goes by very slowly too.
Theirs does. Yeah.
But yeah, there's also obviously there's Stone Protectors. So sometimes when you take the enemy out, like they'll spit out like a gem, and you collect it. And if there's 5 or 6, and if you happen to get each one, you get like a bonus at the end of the stage.
So it's a good incentive. If you're playing with another guy, it's like, okay, well, we need to get
Of course, you don't
one of
really,
each.
you don't really, can't really keep track in your head of which ones you've gotten so far.
No,
You know.
yeah. Wait, pause it. I got a blue one.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I remember. I mean, they got me good because I remember going into Ames
Oh, jeez.
in Norwich.
Ames. So this would be like the Kohl's of today, guys.
Yeah, Ames, and I remember going down the toy aisle, just looking for Ninja Turtles
Toys.
or X-Men or just whatever
Sure.
kind of toys, and
You didn't
then,
play with X-Men. Come on now.
No, but I had a few of them though. But I mean,
They were
it
cool
was
to
then
look
it
at.
was like a toy's a toy. I'm just looking for a toy.
Let's go somewhere and look at things.
Yeah, that was like 90% of your childhood,
Yeah.
and then that 10% would you'd actually be able to get something.
Right.
So, I mean, they got me real good because I remember seeing the packages and I was like, oh my god, these things are great. They're just like juiced out, like because I mean, like
They look really cool.
the trolls at the time were like huge, like the treasure trolls and everything.
He wanted to collect. My buddy Matt wanted to collect every single one. He had a wall,
Oh,
like
really?
a shelf in his room.
I remember it being. I know,
stacked
obviously, it
up
was more
too
of
high.
like a girly toy, and that's why they came up with the stone protectors, were just like the Ninja Turtles.
I never thought of
juiced up.
them as like girly. I just thought they were just kind of non-binary or whatever. They were just like they were just trolls. They weren't girls or guys. They were
And
just
then
trolls.
they were they had like the pencil toppers, the little you could just
Yes.
put them on and then twist their hair.
the
and
cute little
really
plastic ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one in a plant downstairs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they were like I think with Russ was it who's they were making the trolls, the Russ Toy Company.
Oh, maybe.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's ever really like flat out like, oh yeah, they're trolls, but it's kind of like implied because
I think it's implied.
this is like a different company that this is like Ace Novelty, unless they're with Russ, because I know Russ makes. At least they made the treasure trolls because like sometimes I'll find them a whole bunch and like sell them. But I actually have some now, which is Cornelius the samurai, who also he's a samurai that sings because his nunchuck is a microphone. Somehow.
Why not?
And then we got one of the evil Zoc. He is the evil leader of the whole organization. So obviously the one I wanted originally was the Chester the Wrestler. And I think I'm pretty sure I had him. I don't remember which ones. I may have only had two. And it's like I didn't even
hunt those
it's
puppies down.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what they were. They just looked
They're
like
really cool
They
looking.
just looked like Ninja Turtles, and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, and then I think they're I think on the inside of them there's like a spark kind of thing where it lights up.
No, you should open it up.
Oh, I don't know about that. Just play with them, set them all up.
So
yeah, but I mean they're colorful, they're detailed. They come with like 3-4 weapons like on each one. So I mean you were definitely getting your money's worth back then. I mean, according to KB, they were $7.99 at one point.
Yeah, and these were clearanced out at 3 for $5. Can you imagine getting these 3 for $5? And
I mean, that was just like
I think I got these for you for Christmas or for your birthday.
it was Christmas this past Christmas. Yeah,
And I definitely didn't pay 3 for $5 for them.
yeah.
They weren't crazy, but
No.
they're definitely
So now I gotta actually get. I think I need to
cool
get
little collector's pieces.
a few. I mean, there's only like 5 more to get. And there's actually like I was looking them up. There's actually one of like an accessory vehicle is like a lawnmower.
Ooh,
Don't know why, but
turtles have their
yeah.
turtle
So
van?
I mean, it would make
Pizza
senend
shooter?
huh?
They have the pizza shooter
Oh,
and
yeah.
the turtle van,
Yeah, it's just the troll van,
the pizza blimp.
the protector van.
Yeah, it's just like the turtles. It's just it's our version
Yeah.
of what the turtles have. So it's just as good.
I mean, but the thing, it's funny because I mean, Playmates, the one that they were making the Ninja Turtles, they also made I think it's the Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah.
or the Toxic.
That was a cartoon, right?
Yeah, and they actually some of the vehicles they made or like accessories are the same for the Ninja Turtles. They just put different stickers on them and made them a different color.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I found some that I think it was either a helicopter or like a boat thing, and it was literally the same exact thing, but they just made it like a neon color for the Toxic
Why not?
Avengers.
It's gonna save on cost,
and
right?
like put different stickers on it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're saying that the cartoon never came out, I mean, maybe it didn't because I never saw it, and I had no idea what a stone protector was.
I
It
think
just
I
looked
read that
sweet.
it never came out.
Oh, I mean that would make sense.
I could be wrong, but I don't think
I mean,
so.
if it did, no one watched it.
No. Nobody played the game.
No.
And that's the unfortunate part, is that it was produced in a time that there was so many games like this, because this is what happens when things get popular. Turtles just like exploded the beat 'em up genre, and I think I would say the Turtles blew up the beat 'em up genre. I mean, you had your hardcore Final Fight, Streets of Rage, but the one that everybody
but mainstream. Yeah.
the one that like the mainstream, like the kids were playing,
Like
and
any-
the older kids
yeah.
were playing, was Turtles in Time.
If you ask
and
anyone,
Turtles, the arcade game.
Like around our age, like Turtles 2. Like, oh yeah, Turtles 2 is like awesome. Like
Right.
everyone. I mean, most people will know about Final Fight and Streets of Rage for the most part.
Gamers, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying anyone that just like that doesn't play games now,
Right.
but did then,
They'll say
would,
we
they would-
remember that arcade
Yeah,
game.
they would say the Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a game that comes kind of from that lineage, and because there were so many games coming out like this at the time, even if they weren't the kind of animated versions, it was just drowned out. It was white noise, because there were so many that were there, and it was already kind of on the back end.
Yeah, I mean,
in
the
terms
end
of like
94, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of already like, all right, well, we've done this 100 times, and that's why they canceled the Genesis version, because I mean, we're lucky that we got the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
Because who knows, they could have canned that one too. What are you looking up?
I'm just trying to look up what it's going for, because I can't remember what
that's a good
what the
idea.
what the game going for
What does
right
it-
now.
Yeah, what's it sold for? Loose.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, around $60-$70.
Is it a $65-$70 game?
Huh.
It's the big question.
Yeah. I mean,
Depends on if you've played whatever the other games, right?
yeah. I would say it's.
How much is Turtles in Time?
I don't know yet, but I would say Stone Protectors would be a good $40 game.
$40. I can see that.
$70 is a bit much. But I mean, if you're into retro gaming, you're gonna want the cart,
Right.
So
Well, they've got the Kickstarter that's gonna come out. So I mean, you could always do one of those, but you're still gonna do. I mean, that's a reproduction, and that's still gonna be what, $60.
but isn't it just the Genesis version?
But you can get either or.
Oh, you can.
You can get the Super Nintendo version, or you can get. I would get the Genesis.
But what
version.
would be the point of the Super Nintendo one if it's already? I don't know.
Because it's new and it's probably gonna come with the comic, and
Yeah, I guess. I maybe you're probably right. I just thought it was just only the Genesis version because the Genesis version never came out.
no, I think you can get your pick.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you don't have a Genesis and you only have a Super Nintendo, then that's not really gonna help you,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're basing it off like of Ninja Turtles, like they're basically the same price. I mean,
you got to go for Turtles in Time. Before. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like close to the pinnacle.
yeah, Turtles is going for about 70, the same price.
Yeah.
But obviously, Stone Protector.
And then Mazen Saga right after that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically it's rare. Stone Protectors. I mean,
It has to be.
no one really knew. Who knows how many copies they actually made or
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean, when are you gonna see Stone Protectors out?
Yeah. Well, where do you put Stone Protectors compared to, let's say, like Rival Turf or
You know what?
King of Dragons or Legend or any of these games?
What
What about
I really can't answer that because
Battletoads? Kind of reminds me of Battletoads a little bit.
Man, the NES version of Battletoads.
Genesis.
I feel like that's, yeah. I don't know. There's something a little off about the Genesis one. I don't know.
Of Battletoads?
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It just doesn't hit the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one's definitely more
you-
flashy.
Would you say the same about Battletoads and Double Dragon?
I really like. I do like. I think Battletoads and Double Dragons. I think it's a better game.
It's harder.
It is.
It's harder. I've never played through it. I don't think I can get through it.
I don't know if it's just like the appeal of Battletoads and Double, like just
Together?
in just the name, you
Yeah,
know, and
no, I
like you're
like it.
familiar with it, and
Mhm.
so you know you've played through different versions of Double Dragon and Battletoads, so you're kind of like already entrenched into the.
The thud of that game is really good. Like the thud of like
Yeah.
hitting a bad guy in that game is really, really satisfying.
Yeah, I would probably choose Battletoads Double Dragon.
How much is that going for?
It's a little cheaper. I think it's
And you can get that in the
around.
box too. You have that, don't you?
No, I have. Oh no, I do.
You
yeah,
do.
yeah, on the
I think
Genesis.
you have it in the box,
That's
don't you?
right. I do.
Did that come with like a blue label on the outside?
No, just the red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that just Barney's hide and seek? That came with a blue label.
That's how you know it's good. You gotta differentiate it from everything else.
Yeah, I mean, the more that I look at it, there's a lot of ones that I haven't done. Like, you know, the what's it called again?
Oh, Peacekeepers.
Peacekeepers.
I think that one's like $100 game.
You know, I haven't played Peacekeepers. I haven't played Brawl Brothers. I haven't played Rival Turf really that much. I
Yeah, I know.
I
We've
played
only
it a little bit.
well, that's because I have them, and we just kind of like just tested it out really quick.
Right.
But we haven't really like gone into it, like played it like through the whole game.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I got a few years ago, I got Combat Tribes. Like
Oh,
everyone was saying
jeez.
it's supposed to be good, and it's like it's weird. It's not like a beat 'em up. It's like you start in a stage, and then you like take out all the enemies, and then like that's it. It's not like you're progressing left to right. Do you remember playing
Yeah.
it like that?
Yeah.
You're just in like this one section,
One screen.
and then you like just enemies are coming
Almost
in.
like,
You're
almost like Renegade.
yeah, and then you're like taking them out, and then you just go to the next level. So it's like, and it's not really that great either. You know, that's definitely a skippable. I mean, but it's still considered like in that the whole realm of all the other beat 'em ups. But I mean, that's definitely one I would skip.
Yeah. But I mean, I kind of would put this on the same level as like the Power Rangers game. I think it's kind of right there. I can't remember how much I liked Two Crude Dudes. I think that was a little bit more generic. You know,
That's
not,
also, I don't even know if you'd really consider that. I mean, I guess
it's a one plane.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
a one plane
yeah.
beat 'em up.
I mean, it is a beat 'em up, but not in, you know.
It's not that foreground background.
Yeah.
Moving in 3-dimensional space like the Turtles.
Yeah, you know, I might put Stone Protectors if it like right below Final Fight, and maybe there might be a game between Final Fight and Stone Protectors. I don't know that game yet. I don't know if it could be Rival Turf or like Captain Commando or one of those, but I think it falls
Punisher.
on Genesis.
Yeah, I like the Punisher probably better than Stone Protectors.
Yeah.
It's probably Stone Protectors, the Punisher, Final Fight.
Yeah,
It's got to be like
I would
that.
I would go with that.
And
yeah.
then Turtles, Streets of Rage. It's tough. I would probably say Streets of Rage, but again, now we're arguing about amazing games. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, because you just, I mean, when I think of Streets of Rage, I think of all three games.
right?
Where in Turtles, I mean, I guess
They're kind of all the same game.
I guess Turtles, you could say Turtles 2 on the NES, and then
Yeah.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah,
But that's it, I
Yeah.
guess, you know.
yeah.
So that's why I kind of give the nudge to Streets of Rage.
Well, and talking about like the Punisher, like right under Final Fight 1, and this is the Sega CD version we're talking about.
Final Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. I don't know what Punisher's going for, but it's definitely gonna be way more than Stone Protectors. I probably would say get Stone Protectors at $70
Well,
before spending $200 to get.
well, you're saying that's for a complete copy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's true.
It actually is around the same.
Is it around the
like
same?
70, 80. Maybe it's probably on the higher end, like 80.
But I still would rather spend $80 or even $90 on the Punisher
No, I agree. Yeah.
than
Yeah.
the $70 on Stone Protectors.
Concur.
Yeah. And then we haven't even talked about Double Dragon, but you know we could be here all day talking about. So I think the summation of it is that I think it's a good game. It was a forgotten game. It's a game that deserves definitely more conversation. And if you see this game out, definitely take a chance on it, because I had a load of fun playing it when we played it the first time. I had a lot of fun playing it this time, and it's just a you know, a very well produced, check all the boxes type of a game. It'll make you laugh. You'll dance along to the music, or kind of sets the mood for you getting into the levels.
Especially the ending where they really set it off.
Yeah, where they're playing in the concert, almost like Gwar style.
Yeah,
in Beavis and Butthead.
This is just like it.
Yeah. It's got a lot of flair, a lot of style. So
yeah, because it's like you go into, because like you start in that first level and you're like, oh man, there's actually like a lot going on in like each level, and then like you get through that level, the next level is gonna have some, you can like look around in each level and you like see the detail they put into it. So it's kind of like, you're kind of looking forward to seeing the next level, what it's gonna be.
Right, you want to see, yeah. Well, especially when they have like the foreground effects, and then they've got either some line scrolling or parallax in the background, and then you've got the middle plane where you're playing. So there's a bunch of different graphical effects that are happening all at the same time. And when you put them all together, it's like, wow, this is really impressive. Like this is really good. And then the action is pretty decent too. So it's definitely, it's got its own style that is, like I said, is very, very well produced. So that's why I kind of appreciate it and I enjoy it. You almost didn't see some of these effects that were there until like say like the Saturn era, where it was that early phase of like the Saturn. Like Astral is the game that comes to mind, where it's like a side-scrolling platformer that's got a lot of these effects that you hadn't seen before. They were, a lot of these were in Stone Protectors on a 16-bit system, so that's kind of my thought process on it. So,
well, I'm glad I have it.
Yeah, I think so, right? Like,
yeah,
for whatever you spent on it, or I think I got it for you at some point. It's when if you own it, you don't want to get rid of it.
No, definitely not.
So that, I guess that tells
even just for like the value of it, it's only going to go up, I guess,
Yeah, but I think you'd rather own Stone Protectors than Final Fight 3.
Yeah.
Which you have told me that you want to continue to own, which is probably just for its historical value than anything else.
Yeah.
Not because you want to go back and play it again.
Yeah.
Stone Protectors is a game that you could put into the rotation. It's like, we haven't played this one in a while. It's really good.
Yeah, give it like
Let's give it a go. I mean,
another 6-7 months or something.
Yeah,
you can pop it in again.
And it's like, what are you devoting to it? 1 hour?
Yep.
And then you're done.
That's perfect. It's the perfect time.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, when you look at all your like Super Nintendo games, it's like, what do you want to play? And there's some more of those long form games. Like I don't always want to play, Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Or whatever the Super Nintendo version is. Is it Link's Awakening? No, not Link's Awakening.
Link
to the Past.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really want to, that's like an every 3-year game, whereas you can play some of these shorter, quicker games like every couple of months or even every 6 months, pick it up, play it, and that's why we own these games, to play them. So
put a bow on it.
Yeah. So with that, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Remind you guys that we are on Spotify. We are on YouTube for the full flavor version with all of the extra cuts.
The accoutrement.
So check us out there. And Apple Podcast. We're on Stitcher still?
Sure, whoever listens to that.
Sure, whoever's listening to Stitcher.
Pretty much whatever
podcast service you use, we have. You can email us at theturboduo at gmail.com, and we're on Facebook as the Turbo Duo, Instagram the Turbo Duo. Check us out. If you have a suggestion for the podcast, feel free to drop us a note and let us know what you'd like to see. And with that, if there's nothing else, remember that everything good starts from above. Be safe, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it turbo.